Well, the hardest decision is which wall in Kathy's office we're going to hang the
it's
shelter
all the
house
way
picture.
downstairs. All the way downstairs.
She wants that.
Who does?
Kathy.
Does she?
She wants it hanging in her office.
Yeah, I heard all about that picture.
Huh. Talk up both sides of the house.
Yeah, we got the perfect place for it. Downstairs.
Yeah.
All the way downstairs.
All the way. The sub-basement.
In the back room,
You mean with Mike Carpin?
Yes.
over there with the picture of the flags.
Yeah, you can get copies of some suggestions. All right, bring this meeting to order. All right, well, pretty much. Oh, public appeals, anyone? No?
He went out. He's on the phone.
Well, I know what it is. I'll make it for him to put the meetings on the online.
And here you go.
I did your public appeal already to put the meetings online.
There you go, that's good.
All right. We'll address it when we're capable. You know we will. Okay, so pretty much it's just going down and updating us on this H2O grants. You'll make that known when it's available. Shane.
Yep.
Rules and regs. Hopefully, I know you've been really busy, so maybe till next meeting you can get some
Yeah, you know, I was looking.
suggestions on that.
I was looking at a couple things. There's it'll probably take me a little longer than the next meeting. I'll be honest with you. I'll do my best for the next meeting for you.
All right.
I just have one question. Procedurally, does that need the executive session?
When we talk about that, yeah.
Okay. If you could just keep that in mind then.
Okay. Home inspections or legal hookups. Last meeting you said that's going to start in March sometime.
We just started sending out the first notices.
Okay. What parts of towns are we doing right at this time?
I don't know.
Okay, that's fine.
Off the top of my head. What we have been doing is that a few stragglers that have been ignoring, and we've been cleaning them up. I meant to look and give you an accurate
Okay.
projection on that, and I will do that and get it in your box,
Well,
just so you know.
it doesn't even have to be in the boxes. Maybe you can get that till next meeting.
Okay.
And then, status of Weeder
Can
Lane.
you email that instead of putting paper?
Yeah, we could scan it and
I
email
prefer
it.
papers because I don't print anything out.
Well, you don't have to print it, you have it on your computer.
All right. So anyhow.
He's a paper guy. I understand. Yeah, I
Oh, you need it physically in your hand?
Yeah.
Got it.
Status of Weeder Lane. Obviously, we're waiting on a new solicitor. South 2nd Street Reservoir. That hasn't changed anything as far as I know, right, Jeff?
No,
Cintas. Anything there?
still waiting on Arcadis to finish their required filings with DEP.
Okay. 226 Pine Street, last meeting you said it would be done by the end of March, so.
Let me tell you what we've not done yet. We're going to be doing it this month. But I'm not even really thinking that is the problem.
Okay.
We did a bunch of televising and a bunch of cleaning of the sewer lines in that area. And, you know, I don't ever remember there being a problem in that area until just 2 or 3 years ago. And coincidentally, about a week and a half ago, I think it was, maybe 2, we were cleaning sewer lines and we pulled out 2 very large root growth masses that were
When you say pull, you mean you cut them out?
cut them and they come into a manhole and then you can retrieve them. They were downstream of 226 Pine,
But it's something
but
that could
would
back
have
up.
definitely have caused a
A
backup.
backup. Okay.
And it kind of fits into the whole thing about why all of a sudden it just started a couple of years ago. It kind of, the roots grew and
It takes a while for them to grow.
So it's downstream, basically.
And, I mean, we still are going to address this sag, but I'm thinking that it's always bothered me why,
Why all of a sudden?
kind of, yeah.
Maybe that was the
No,
This
solution.
never was a problem before.
I just wanted to tell you that.
Okay, was that news passed on to her to let her know? I mean,
I had not spoken with her at all.
Maybe you
Okay.
could communicate with
Would
us.
you
Shane, could
please-
you, you wanted the two, I don't know, whoever's more appropriate, but, just let her know that you found that,
So we're still gonna,
and that this is still gonna be done, and hopefully that's the solution.
Do you want to contact her, or do you want me
I can contact her.
and
Just
it's-
because he has.
No, I'm fine, I'm just long as,
Yeah,
I think she
first.
should be updated, because to
Somebody
me, that's good
to
Oh,
know.
news.
absolutely.
That sounds like good news to me.
Yeah,
But we're still gonna repair that sag in
Right.
in that line, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, South 10th Street culvert, last meeting you said you were gonna have Hanover Engineering, look at solutions or costs.
I spoke with Brad about that briefly, and we're gonna come up with a plan
Okay.
to spend a little time analyzing what size really needs to be there before we go any further with it, because it's my suspicion that it could be downsized quite a bit, which would minimize the cost.
Okay.
But would you need more to fill in though?
Well, you'd have more dirt fill over the top of the pipe, but the size of the pipe would be less in cost.
So basically, the project might be scaled down.
Not necessarily scaled down, it'd just be putting in the right size
right
pipe.
size.
Okay.
Right now, it's a 12-foot diameter structure, and I'm
Yeah.
not really quite sure.
You may pay more in
Concrete and-
backfill,
Right.
but as far as the culvert, it'd be considerable savings if we can downscale that by a couple feet.
So instead of it being 12, it could be 8.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay,
but we need
alright,
to
I
figure, we need
understand.
to analyze the upstream drainage area
Gotcha.
and work at that point.
I'll keep.
The project could possibly cost less because of size.
Yeah,
With the whole project though, but
I
Well, we
would
don't
say
even have an
that,
estimate yet,
you
so.
know,
yeah, I would,
I'm not requiring it, I'm just making notes for myself.
yeah.
All right, Landis Circle. We were
Spoke to
going,
Brad about that. It is something that we could do, tongue in cheek. Neither one of us are really that hip on doing something like that. I suggested to him, and he agreed that
Regrading.
regrade it, but I don't think that on a cold weather period that really is going to solve it, because when you look at the problem of the water flowing down Second Street, that's a pretty good gradient, and that freezes and ends up pushing out. So I'm not thinking that getting rid of any little bird bass is going to solve the problem.
all right, and I'm thinking also, we had we had record rainfall last year.
Yeah.
Record. So maybe if we go back to a normal rainfall, have we had complaints about this in the past prior to that record rainfall?
Well, we did a little, but.
It was manageable, right?
Understand that area through there is wet all the time.
Right, it's on spring.
And those complaints only started most recently because those folks coughed the water out of the sewer. So this didn't just begin until just a couple of years ago. So that's when the complaints started.
Okay.
So to answer your question, I don't think it's gonna go away.
So do we not want to regrade, or we still want to do that?
Well, I spoke to Brad about it, and like I said, it's completely out of the box sort of engineering. It would work. We would have to create a French drain of some sort behind the curb. It is all doable. The first thing we have to do is expose the under drain near the intersection and determine that we have what we have there.
Okay.
It is doable. It's just it's a little bit outside the box enough that we're both kind of a little bit weird about it. You'd be running over a line across the intersection and kind of doing a total MacGyver thing, which.
And you're talking this one that you're talking about is running it over to that drainage on the west side of Second Street, or not?
Yes,
Okay.
that's where it's at.
Right.
You cross the street.
Yeah, I was thinking of two separate things. You talked about regrading, but I didn't realize you were tying that also into running it underneath and tying it to that drainage.
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, if this was the intersection,
No, I understand. I thought we were just talking about regrading. I didn't know about you were putting that line
we
underneath.
talked about coming over here with a pipe
Right.
too, and making a rock pit, receiving the water and getting it underground.
Right.
And all of that is kind of really weird engineering. I mean, it's doable. What I was gonna do here is I'm gonna expose this and just, I wanna do a little more investigation
Okay.
that's there.
All right. Any new business?
Well, there's a little bit of old business that's not on here, and that's, Mrs.,
Is that the sewer repair on 913 Buttonwood?
no, that's the Cleaver.
Cleaver, Harrison, and Macungie Avenue.
We
You
put
fixed
that
that.
device in.
I saw you guys walking
So
in.
it's Cleaver?
Oh,
At 741
Yeah,
Harrison.
for the backflow?
Valve,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Valve,
Check valve.
Yeah.
yeah.
What we ended up doing was we put the check valve in, and then we put a clean out port just past that towards the street, because if they have a blockage in their line, they can't go through that clean out.
Okay.
So they'll be able to go to their check valve, and then go in again from there out to the main should they have a blockage. We ran both of the connections to the surface with caps on them. I've spoken to her on the phone, explained to her what was going on with it. She's completely understanding.
What is the address?
741.
Harrison.
Basically, I told her maybe twice a year, this little device that's underneath here is like a T with a flapper valve in it, and the water can only go one way.
And what is it called so I can report it?
It's a sewer check valve,
Thank you.
a backflow preventer. And so what I told her, she's gonna need to figure out what kind of a frequency she should do this, but I suggested maybe twice a year, popping the cap in a garden hose and
Just flush
for the
it.
flashlight, just kind of rinse it, you know, there might be some toilet paper, or maybe there would be nothing. So she was fully understanding about
And they're
that.
happy about that?
She seemed to be fine.
Okay.
She was glad that her son was gonna be able to move back
Back
downstairs.
downstairs.
Okay.
Downstairs.
Oh, yeah, that, okay, that's, I remember the household now.
He basically lived down there and couldn't after that happened.
She was upset and crying, yeah, I remember, okay.
His insurance wasn't covered anymore.
Okay, so, any new business?
I really have none.
Anybody else have any questions?
Yeah, I got a quick question on
Nothing's quick with you, but.
There's certain pattern crosswalks
Yes.
that we're gonna do this year.
Yes.
Is there any like warranty or anything, Jeff, that we have is there any even quality control that, was the mix too thin?
No.
You know, or is it just?
Where are you referring to?
Well, the worst is Third and Main, which is our metas because of they drain out and then it
Third
gets
and
ice.
Main is gonna be, Third and Main, if you remember the contractor that came through there that did the asphalt work for us. I think that particular location, I think we got a substandard patching job, because if you remember correctly,
AMS?
that wasn't AMS, that was Bernie Brown paving. They came through, and if you remember correctly, it was right before the Halloween parade, they milled all those intersections out, you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And I made them go and patch that stuff in temporarily, and they were patching some of that stuff in the rain, just to get it closed up for the parade, and then I made them take the stuff back out. I think we definitely got a bad paving job there. I think that's part of it. I think the other part of it is that water that's coming out of that restaurant, the constant flow of the condensate. I think, and I want to talk to you all about making an exception on that location and try to get them to not put that in the roadway any longer. and I have an idea about that. I kind of want to talk to you all about it at some point in time. But I believe that the other part of it is those crosswalks have been down. The only other one that's failed real badly, well, it hasn't failed real badly, it fell because of a water leak, was at 6th and Elm. And yes, there is a warranty with them, but there's a lot of, they've been in for years. So,
No, it's only been a couple of years, Joe.
no, it's been way more than 2 years. The
3 or
last
4.
ones that
3
went
or 4,
in,
right, but,
5 years.
I mean, isn't there like a,
5 years. You will never, you only get a 1-year warranty period.
You'll know
on
if it's
a
messed up
roadway.
right away.
well, yeah, I mean, I'm
Part
just
of the
asking.
problem, part of the problem is this, okay, they are an expense that requires extra money to maintain,
Mhm.
no doubt. You get a lot of movement in your roadway, it all is tied in with the freezing and the thawing cycle, moisture getting in underneath the roadway, you know, what is under the roadway, how thick is the asphalt. I would tell you that the material that they put down is bonded very well in places. There is a couple spots that over time have delaminated. I would tell you that it's one of those things that, you know, you're going to spend money on those things if you want to choose to have that sort of an improvement. I don't think you're going to see them ever perform any better. There's too many variables involved there.
Question, is there something you can put on it, like it's some kind of seal or something that preserves it more?
Yeah.
No? Okay.
When they mix, when they put those down, they mill the surface, and then they clean, and they heat lance the surface, and you know, a tremendous amount of time preparing. And then that is a stone mixture with an epoxy resin that bonds with the pavement as long as the prep work is done well. It is what it is. I mean, if you painted lines are definitely cheaper.
Right.
You know, if you're trying to make some sort of an improvement that's different, to give a different kind of a look, you need to expect on spending more money maintaining them.
Right. Okay.
We do have a couple problem areas, and we have a little bit of, and I'll say the Third Street intersection is one of these. I think we've got a very, very poor job there in the beginning. Plus the flow there has caused more of a problem, and what my plan is to, you know, mill that completely out.
What is the estimated cost for the maintenance that we're having on this year?
25,000.
What we have the cost of repairing all of the crosswalks is $25,000.
Okay.
And that's, you know, we put some down on the main drag, we put some down on the side streets,
By
we have
schools.
Second and
Yeah.
Seam and Third and Seam and 10th Street and, you know, 10th and 6th and North and.
And how much did the original project cost?
I don't know. I don't know, because.
I know it's grant money, but
It was tied, it's definitely more because it was tied in with bonding, federal wage rates. It was part of an entire package that included more elements. It included the asphalt paving, it included signage, it included some other elements.
so we have to determine in the future if we, well, we're doing it this year, but in the future, we have to determine, you know, do we want to maintain all these or do we want to scale back? Well, I mean, I personally want to keep the ones downtown, but maybe the ones around the schools aren't as necessary.
Let me,
I think the key to maintaining it, Brent, I mean, in my opinion, might be just to, you know, this year I think you're gonna take a hit, you know, because they all need, you know, I mean, they all need addressed one way or another, whether it's painting or whatever. But then if you develop a program where you know, every couple of years you hit so many of them, it'll spread
Spread
out.
at one time.
Yeah, so you don't
Like a
see
cycle.
that, yeah, so you don't see that 25,000.
But do you save more if you get them to come at one shot?
One thing to
Who's
think
doing
about here, AMS.
AMS is good.
One thing to think about, and this is kind of a backdoor approach of looking at it. Okay, we're spending $25,000 this year on all those crosswalks, right? They've been in place for 5 years, I know for a fact, at least 5 years, some of them more. Had we not had these crosswalks in place, our labor to paint crosswalks would have been tripled, because we took away a lot of the painting when we put those in. So, you know, there's a significant savings in paint and manpower that we're able to do other things. So there is some kind of like offsetting, in a weird way, cost that way. But I'm not trying to.
So 25,000, if this is our fifth year, that's averaging to 5,000 a year maintenance then.
Right, and I'm not saying that is more expensive than painting crosswalks. There's no doubt about it. But you've also got a totally different look.
Right.
What I would say to you is the crosswalk that we put in as a pattern over there at Second and Harrison, well, look how that one's wearing. You know, that was
The neon one?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, now you can get different colors if you choose.
Right.
to
It
go
looks
with
alright,
this.
alright.
That thing is, but the difference there is that pavement got replaced
Uh-huh.
and new pavement was put in, it was heated, and they stamped that pattern in, so you end up with little recesses, and you buy the pre-cut pieces of thermoplastic and melt them in place, and so theoretically your traffic's riding just a little bit over, never really right on.
That's why it's not wearing.
And that's why it's not wearing.
Got
It
it.
is the same crosswalks that McCungy put in over
Right.
on the same
I'm familiar with those.
and you know, crosswalks are supposed to be a place that, you know, do two things. They visibly identify to the driver, this is a crossing.
Mhm.
And number two, it visibly draws the pedestrian to a point you want him to cross. So I certainly believe that a crosswalk should be more than just two lines across the street, but how you achieve that is, you know, several ways you could do that. There's no doubt that the crosswalks cost more with this stuff. They do add an element of aesthetically pleasing, and you know, it enhances the streetscape and all of that. And there's some measurable value, whether, you know, whether that all fits in with what you all want to spend is a totally different picture. So,
Well, that was a quick question. It was not a quick answer. So thanks for the quick question.
You're welcome.
Did you want to have anything to say? I mean, we're not familiar with you being here, but...
I'm sorry, I talked to Mr. Pepe, I believe it is, about the street cleaning, so Dominic Brucey, he invited me to the meeting, so I just wanted to see it.
So you're interested
That was
on
something
how
about Borough.
how it's done?
I had, my issue with, that I brought to Mr. Pepe earlier was, I questioned the street cleaning in general because, the morning that, or after I wrote the email, nobody came through the street cleaning. I live on the 600 block of Chestnut Street.
Okay.
And I had noticed sometimes, preferably in the wintertime usually, that people move, you know, everybody moves their car for Monday mornings, and the street cleaner sometimes comes by and sometimes doesn't. Usually in the summertime it's more consistent, and in the wintertime it's more hit or miss.
Okay.
So,
I'll have Jeff, our Public Works Director, explain it. I know what the answer's going to be, but...
sure, I mean,
Go ahead.
Well,
he has a very good point.
Yeah, and we discussed, Jeff, and just so you know, Brent, I apologize for not bringing you guys up to speed on that.
That's fine. I saw him there, and I
No,
thought he was there for a
appreciate
reason.
it. Asked me about-
I'm glad you asked.
I don't mean to make the whole meeting longer or anything, so.
No,
please,
no,
you know,
I'm glad you came because Jeff, Chief Faust and I sat down and discussed your issue, and
Great.
Jeff said exactly that. It said you've got a great point. So Jeff can tell you how the process works, and and what he thinks are some possibilities. I had also given some suggestions of some possibilities that the committee unfortunately hasn't yet kind of
Well,
gotten to the point to talk about.
I'll
But
just listen.
Here's the problem. We have a sweeper route that is designated, and it's the only sweeper route in the borough. And it basically is the main drag, Jubilee Street, some half side streets, and the signs are posted, no parking, Monday 7 to 9 except holidays. So anyone who's parked there on a Monday, they get a ticket. And we've kept that, we've held that line more for training because it's pretty hard to say, well, we're not sweeping this Friday, this Monday or whatever. And there are times that we don't sweep during the summer. There's a reason for that. Either the sweeper's broken,
Or manpower.
we have a manpower issue or something like that. So we
Knew that was
couldn't
gonna be
change that part of it. But this winter posed a very unique situation, and herein lies where I agree with you. Typically during the winter, you don't sweep because you got, snow
Ice,
and
whatever.
ice, and we've winterized the sweeper and it's parked, and the sweeper route still says what it says, and this year we probably should have swept more, and we didn't. And the reason why I didn't is because when you use the anti-skid on the roadway, it is a very big mess, obviously, but it's very wearing on the sweeper. And so I was reluctant to go out and sweep, thinking that the next storm that's coming, you're going to have this material here again. We've already started going through town and cleaning the roads,
Right.
figuring winter's over. But maybe a consideration that would be an appropriate one is to say from
That's what-
December 15th.
That's what they do in
or
Allentown.
From December 1 to February 30, or whatever day you choose,
February 30 is
you
good.
would simply add an auxiliary sign that would say the froms and the twos.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, and that's-
During,
Other
And it would
municipalities do
stop the hardship of these folks running out on a
Yeah.
cold winter morning, moving their car, only to find the sweeper not to
And
go
that's
by.
that's how our program was in Berwick as well. It was April 1 to October 31st. So it was April and October. Just because November was always a leaf collection and things like that. They're out there doing branch pickup and all that stuff. So usually in November you've got your manpower dealing with that type of work, and then December comes and
I can tell you what they do in Allentown, because I work at the Phoebe home, and on 19th Street is one of those street cleans where Wednesday you can't park on one side and Thursday you can't park on one side, and I forget what the hours are. And during the winter you're allowed to park there. What they do is when it's ready to start the street cleaning, they put notices on everybody's windshield saying street cleaning will resume, and whatever the date is. And then when they resume, you get one warning and that's it. And then after that, obviously if you got a warning. And then after that, then you start ticketing. That's the procedure they did in Allentown.
you have
I
to
think we're,
you have to change your ordinance if you're to change the months
be amended.
yeah.
of sweeping, which I mean
That's
that's
not
not
hard.
that's not a big deal.
No?
Ordinance?
No, we have the ordinance, but it's not spelled out when the street cleaning is, so we have to amend it
You'd
to
have
add
to amend your
the
ordinance.
months.
And then actually, if you change it, you have to actually post the months
Right.
on the sign.
On the sign.
Put it in the newsletter in
Mhm.
the spring too.
Sure.
And the flyers. I mean, they're
If you don't want to
they're
give the
perfect.
notices, then you give them one warning, and then
Yeah.
they find out through the warning. But then,
However that part of the procedure happens, I think it's fair. It's one of those things that, it's amazing how you can be involved in this long, and these small things keep popping up that you kind of end up saying, a V8 moment kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
We don't.
but we never had a mild winter like this. I mean, I haven't remembered.
We don't post anywhere in town, and we don't go through the motions of making people move because it's very labor intensive and no one moves anyway. But I think in this particular case, I would say, you know, oftentimes our leaf collection runs into December,
Mhm.
so I don't think I would make the no parking requirements active or inactive, however you would say it, until after that. I would say
Say like
maybe December 15th.
Yeah,
But I think it's a
Investigate
fair
it.
thing. I do think that if for some reason we could get out there and sweep and we want to sweep, we would just sweep around the cars as we would. But I think it is a valid
Yeah.
consideration.
Yeah, because, you know, I kind of sympathize, Dominic?
Done.
Yeah, I sympathize because I was on 677, so I was on
Yeah.
the other end. You know, and I called you, Jeff, about it, and I said, hey, man, when's the street sweeper getting out? Because it's a really great service we provide for the downtown all the way through. It's something that we need to continue to provide because, man, the trash that
Yeah.
gets piled up out in the main street is something else.
The problem with the machines is street sweepers are ran with water.
Yeah.
So, you know, running them
and then
I mean,
freeze. Yep.
you know, even it's even dangerous doing it right now because if you know once they do it, even though it's a little more mild out, they've got to take it back and flush it and make sure that they vacuum all those lines out so that they don't have any chance of freezing up.
And that is one thing that, you know, by considering this, you need to realize there's going to be garbage. There's going to be debris and cups and stuff like that.
Well, hopefully the
built up.
homeowner can take responsibility and say, hey, man, I want
Some do.
There is
Some
always
do.
to.
that opportunity though where if we can get out, we'll get
Yeah.
out.
Right.
I mean, we understand this, you know.
Okay, so we need to work on an ordinance, and what do you think, December 15th to what?
Well, he can investigate that by next meeting, right?
I would just simply say, you know, this is something that maybe you all need to decide whether you're going to even entertain this whole idea. I'm just saying for myself that it makes sense to support.
I think it's a great idea. How about like December 15th to April 15th?
April's too,
No.
no,
Yeah,
April's too
no.
long.
Too
I
long?
go March.
April 1st?
I would say
Oh, March
1.
15th? March 1? March
I would
1st?
say March
March
1st.
1st to December 15th.
December 15th to March 1st.
Now you're going to.
No sweeping during those.
I,
You can word it
No,
either way,
we would have
actually.
to word it the other opposite way,
I'll take care of how the.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll take care of that for you.
because it would be no.
All you would do
parking
is reverse the time.
Yeah.
It would
Now-
be March 1 to December 15th is what you put on the
Right.
sign.
No
Now,
parking.
we'll have to
No,
make,
you would, yeah, no parking, yeah.
we'll have to make a motion to recommend the council for the solicitor to put, or
You don't need a solicitor for that.
but we still should probably,
Well, let's
There
have
will be
Shane
a
draft
budgetary-
something for us.
Yeah.
okay, draft something for next meeting, and
Then
then
we'll
we'll bring it
review
forward.
Then we'll bring it
Um,
forward.
There will be a
Yeah, and that's important to
budgetary
know.
implication that
Yeah.
we would need to
Because you have to
figure out.
advertise it and stuff.
Well, you have
Well, no,
Signs.
I just have the
Signs.
signage.
Signs.
And
Yeah.
it'll make
Signs.
X number of something.
How big do they have to be now, Jeff, since the signage,
That would just be an auxiliary sign that I believe would probably be a 6x12, similar to the except holidays that you would just bolt on below.
right below, right?
Right below.
Yeah.
It would be an easy
So we don't have
thing
to,
to
like-
do. It should not be a very
Like
costly
redoing the
thing to
signage.
do. Um,
Thank you, Dominic, and hopefully that's taken care of till next year then, and
Thanks
I'm
for
sure you made a lot of your neighbors happy. You get credit for that.
Well, I appreciate it. And we do appreciate the street cleaning. I mean, there is a lot of trash. I mean, I live right across the street from Rita's, and man, I tell you, when they said they were gonna open up in February, I was like, oh man, man, those cups, those
They
other
opened
cups.
early.
A
They
lot of that
opened
just-
early. Yeah.
A lot of that just happens to be with windy days.
Yeah, it's just
Creamery's
it's crazy,
giving them
you
run.
know. So it's not that I didn't want the street cleaning to be done. It was just kind of a matter of I have 3 cars. I only have 2 parking spots. I got to cram 3 in the back parking pad, and it's like
Yeah.
it's such a headache. And to not see the street cleaner come by every day, I'm like,
Frustrating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
where is
A
it?
little
'Cause
disappointing then.
You would
when it
be,
comes by, I'm glad, but when it doesn't come by, I'm disappointed. So.
Do you want me to have that ordinance for the next meeting? This is only a
If
one
you're
page.
able to,
Yeah,
we
no,
have some time because
this-
obviously it won't start till
This only
December
ends up
15th.
this only ends up being a one page ordinance.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
just
It's
it's
Just an
amend.
amendment.
yeah, it's an
We
amendment
can
ordinance.
start it next year.
Well,
Right, so he
Yeah.
can, if you can have it ready for us next
Yeah,
meeting,
I
that'd
can
be
do
great.
that for you for your next.
Yeah, that won't be till April, whatever it is. Anything else?
Do you want us to bring a, if we're able to, a cost estimate?
Yeah, just so we know.
I'll
for
try to,
the signs.
I will try to ascertain how many signs there are.
Okay.
Thank you very much, I appreciate that. That was,
Thanks for.
it was on the radar, it just wasn't on the agenda today.
No problem.
Anybody else have any questions or anything you
Nope,
want to
I'm
bring up?
good.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we have another meeting in 20 minutes.
We got 1 and 5.
We got
Yeah,
5.
Huh?
We have public